As a solo videographer, you may find yourself in some situations where you're filming some interviews or you're filming some testimonials and you have to do it all yourself. It's a pretty difficult situation, but I'm going to give you a few tips about how to get the best results. And while you're watching this video, hopefully it's before the shoot and you can ask to organize someone to be able to ask the questions for you. That's the best case scenario because you've got your focus completely on the camera and you can take care of all the technical stuff. However, if you're watching this video, it is about solving some problems that can happen when you film not looking at the camera. So I'm going to tell you some mistakes that I've made when filming interviews or testimonials by myself without looking at the camera and asking people questions. So when you separate jobs, it makes it much harder to do things at once and get everything right. So the first tip is after you've mic'd up the talent, then you want to do the audio test. So basically get them talking, ask them about the weather, what they're doing for lunch, etc. And then you can hear you're getting a good level. Level is set. Tip number 2 would be to set the focus. Now by setting the focus, you set them in their comfortable frame, you tell them where to stand and then set the focus and then just let them know, or even drop a little marker or put a piece of tape down at their feet and just say you can't move past this. And take note as well as you're asking the questions if they're sort of leaning forwards or back, because with today's large sensor cameras, as beautiful as they can look, making the background blurry, they can go out of focus. That's when autofocus could come in handy if you trust it. The next step is to set the frame at a reasonable distance. Give yourself that little bit of extra room that you can just crop in the frame digitally just a little bit, or that the situation is not going to be that their head is going to be above the frame and you can't do anything about it and you really don't want to use that shot, or they've moved really far out because they've swayed so much and they're out of the frame a little bit. So just keep in mind those things to set the frame just that little bit wider because you're not actually monitoring the frame. And also while you're asking the questions, just keep an eye on their positioning. An option you might want to play around with is if they're comfortable to look directly at the camera, then you are able to stand behind the camera all focused on all the tech. But in a situation where you want to get the standard interview where they're kind of offset and looking this way, then you want to position yourself just so you can glance at the screen and see a bit of the audio levels or see the frame, that they're still in frame and everything's all good. I have made the mistake one time getting so involved in asking the questions, getting the best answers, that I've moved in front of the camera here and then just trusted that the frame will be okay, and it didn't end up okay. So it's definitely a good idea to position yourself where you can just glance across at the frame. You're still getting the eye line that moves across that you'd see for typical interviews. So just position yourself in a situation where you can just check the cameras and everything's still running all good. Then after you completed the interview or the testimonial, hop behind the camera, put the earbuds in and then just listen back to make sure everything is recorded as expected. It only takes a moment just to fast forward through and you get a pretty good idea if it's all good. So I hope you enjoyed those top tips on how to film an interview solo and how to get the best results in that situation. So if you like the video, feel free to give it a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you for more video production and videographer tips in the next video.